Morning, good afternoon, everyone. I want to really set the record straight and talk about something that came to my attention actually, I think 2 days ago. Interestingly, we have a kind of a sister Discord channel to RLU, which is one of my coaching platforms. And in it, people are becoming extremely aware of how and when to run layers, or catching each other on when they're running layers when they do play with each other. It's really interesting to me. First of all, I didn't even think that this channel was even going to go as fast as it did. I mean, even 250 subscribers is kind of a big deal because I spent literal months. I spent literal months growing my last channel, the previous one before that, growing that into 152 subscribers, 153, and then eventually I got into Garrett G's solo queue channel where I spammed "what a save" mainly to our teammate, but he was also referring to he thought I was referring to him, which I could see as that's understandable, but he also partly trolled. He was third man pushing out to on a sustained offense when I just went and our teammate was lagging back, and he decided to kind of run a layer, and net was right open. I got beat. So after that, I got a bunch of people, and you could see that the video cuts where I think that it might be in his channel. It was months and months and months ago. I think it's pretty much gone now, but the video like cuts of him basically typing. I get a Twitter DM from Garrett G going, "Stop quick chatting," and then I got bombarded. Like my videos got like 40, 100, 200 downvotes on all my shit. I literally got annihilated. So I was like, bad press is still press. I could give a shit, to be honest. But I thought, I feel like maybe too much of I wanted to rebrand anyway. So that's why I'm like now Golden Light. And I know I do my own thing. So now I'm at the point where my outreach, in my opinion, is starting to really, really matter. It to me, I'm seeing the after effects and how it's affecting people, and it's blowing my mind, to be honest. So I want to really, really cut this like really simple and explain something that is going to provide a little bit more clarity as far as when it's okay to run layers. Okay, is there ever a time to run a layer? Yes, there is, actually, believe it or not. The only reason I tell my guys, and I'm where I am really careful, is because if you have a play that's any semblance of this, right? So if you already have someone in net, then you do not go stagnant back post because you leave that midfield open. And then that means that, dependent on the possession, if this is a contested 50, right? You're going to end up with, people that are going to naturally push up a little bit because it's contested. So a lot of your pro leagues in their spacing, you can trust their 50s. It's very, very easy. Even playing with pros, it felt like when I was going to play against pros, it felt easier to play against them because it was very linear, and you could always assume that the best thing that they were going to do was what was actually going to happen. So there's that. Then there's possession, right? So if you have blue possession or attacking possession, third is going to look for something where he could be a passing option, okay? And then if you have orange possession, second right here is going to look to basically receive. Now, how does this look at other parts of the field? Well, let's assume the wall, for example, like right here. What if it's a little bit further? Well, you're going to have something like this, and it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter whether it's a transition to offense or whether it's a sustained offense or a transition to defense. No matter what, this second man, and however he rotates, whether he came from all the way over here and then he's making a full second man rotation, which is normally what you'd like to do is go all the way into here and then to give yourself a passing option. You want to do that in their upper third, because that nails you the ability to basically, if you got something like this, you can link up with your teammates at that point, something like this where they're caught out and then they're maybe on their back foot like that. You want this space right there. You don't want it to be closed down because then that forces him in a position where he's got to decide whether he's going to cover net. So it's like, okay, he has to cover net, and then this guy is going to cover midfield pass. He has to segment it. This is at a very, very high level. This system is designed to work top down. It doesn't work bottom up. Okay, so you can't just arbitrarily just state, oh, okay, well, it works at C2, but it's not going to work at SSL. It doesn't work like that. It's designed to work at the highest levels of play, and therefore our lower levels should mirror that, not this fucking layering bullshit. Anyway, back on track. Okay, back on track. Okay, so you do want this you want this space as an offender. As a defender, you don't want this. You want to close it down. So you have to, as a defender, it could be difficult because you aren't able to keep track of absolutely almost everything. And, you know, I can't swivel fast enough when I'm in, you know, the moment to know, okay, do I have a guy here? And then for me to deduce at that point how my angle needs to be, you know, to the net, and how to close down the passing angle to make it easy for my teammate here. So it's a lot to cover. So there's an element of faith. And this is why it's really important that you work these things out beforehand with your team. Otherwise, you're going to end up with some bigger issues later, where if you don't trust, you know, you're going to naturally make a losing 50, maybe something like this, because you're going to attack a little bit more goal side, you know, or towards from the midfield. And then you're going to make a losing 50. And then maybe if you're beat like this entirely, you know, a lot of the times it's not going to happen where you're beat totally entirely off of 50. But it can happen that you just get beat to the ball naturally. And then they take it up the wall and they look to Doomsy. And then this guy's in no man's land and he's out of the play. And they're looking to either Doomsy or pass. And that 2v1 is really tough. We've all been there. I've been there many times in my competitive career. It really blows when I'm having to do the 2v1, because there's really not much I could do other than just kind of take a coin flip gamble. So there are times, however, where if you're, no matter what, going backwards again, no matter what, this second man is looking to receive if the offense has possession, okay? Because the first man that's here is going to look to bait the release into the next guy. And then this guy is going to look to take a dribble, play it over him, and then look to 50 his next guy in the rotation. You know, that's like the mirror. Preferably what you want to do is actually, if you're attacking and you get this, you want to beat him. And, you know, and they're looking to do the same thing. So that's if they have possession. What about if you? Well, now there's an interchangeability where, you know, the second man really isn't going to change much. But the third man is going to look to kind of play a little bit closer. Okay. Now, I've noted, and I believe this to be a conclusion, that a lot of people tend to mistake the layer because they know that they need to have a guy here in the midfield. But what they do is they sacrifice their guy from the backfield over to be here, and that's just not how it works. It's not how the system works when it works, because it doesn't make sense to have this guy coming out of the backfield, cover all that space to come midfield, you know, and here it looks even in the draw board, but when you're actually playing it in game, you know, this front post right here, that space matters. That half a second matters. It'll be punished to you, you know. And there's a lot of other reasons that I've come out with in, you know, pro guides, that Justin rotation, how to rotate like Energy Justin, that pro guide script that I wrote, that also talks about an element of this. I talked about how, you know, basically you don't want to make these square 50s into here, you know, but sometimes it happens that basically, you know, this 50 goes awry and it goes over. Okay. Now, what do we do beforehand? Now, what we'd like to do for simplicity is we just need comms at that point. What I don't want people to do is to just run willy-nilly out of the backfield to try to pre-jump a play that's already, basically their midfield is already covered from this guy. That's what happens when your second man dives. You try to force him out. They forced. It's open. They ran a layer. Because he's going to interchangeable. He can either go back here and then play a defensive stance, or he can come midfield here.
Weird as fuck. Shot. Wait.
No!
Oh, that's fine.
Alright, I'll cut.
Yeah, you cut.
Yeah, he's
nice.
awkward.
He's there. Got it.
Yep, you.
Yeah, well played.
Might be in. Almost.
Nice try.
Bump it.
I'm back left.
Yep. Cutting.
I charged on. Nice good cut.
Chain rotation.
Nice. In. Let's go!
Chain rotation, baby!
Good.
you know, and look to play the 50. However, you know, so basically he's rotating back and he goes, oh, okay, it looks like a dead 50. Okay, I'm going to go right here. Versus going really far back like this. This is something I'm working with my students on because a lot of them are like, I'm like, okay, now I've got you rotating on the lifeline pads. You know, to them, they're like, I feel like everything I do is wrong. It's like, no, it's not wrong. This is just a progression. It's like, it's gradations. You know, it's gradations. I got to get you in the habit of understanding that you come here first. And then from there, you can start to dial in the spacing based on what the play shows, you know, based on whether you have possession, whether they have possession, right? Or whether it's going to be a dead 50. So if you have possession, you're looking to beat, you're probably looking to rotate wide and then look to cut in like this. You know, maybe it doesn't work out anyway because, you know, they have their second man once you play the beat and he's out. You know, their second man is going to take possession. And then from there, they're going to play their mini 1v1. You know, they play their mini 1v1. But what we don't want to do is throw this guy out of the play, have him get a free dribble, and then land it on the wall in the clear, and then be able to win all that space. And now we're forced to clear in the corner, you know, and now he's out of the play. And now this guy from the second man of the backfield comes over. This guy comes over too, you know, and now it's just like we just lost the whole field of space. We just lost the whole field of space because this guy just did a willy-nilly movement because he's trying to bet and make the fucking 90-10, but he's betting on the 10% possibility that this, you know, it ends up a beat. And in that case, if it ends up a beat, you still got this guy. You still got this guy. I've talked about this in about 4 or 5 different videos at this point. Okay. So we want to prevent this. Now, if the second man can still receive this play after, you know, the flick occurs from the first man. So let's say he baits the release. Let's say we're the defensive first man. So this is the defensive first man right here. Oh, I got the ball here. Okay, so that's the defensive first man. Offensive first man would be he has ball, right? So that's how we say it. So you have offensive first or defensive first man because we're blue. Let's pretend that we're blue. Okay, we're attacking or we're defending rather. So this guy, we look to bait the release. It goes into here. Now, what happens if it's a fat clear? Okay, now there's some situations that could lead to that are kind of up in the air. Okay, so what if it's on the wall and you look to clear it here? Sometimes if it's low, it could be go here. But sometimes if it's high and it goes this way, you need to leave it to this guy, you know? And that could be a little bit confusing because sometimes if you're on a sustained offense, you got a guy that is right here, okay? Now, they should be, in essence, you know, when they have their position like this, they should be able to mirror each other because, interestingly, what this guy and what this guy are doing are the same thing, just on the opposite teams. This guy's looking to receive. This guy's looking to play mid. This guy's looking to play mid if it's a dead 50, right? If this guy's looking to clear it, then this guy's looking to push forward, and in that case, this guy goes and matches, and then they play their mini 1v1. You see this? Do you guys get this, right? Because it could very much happen that it goes over you at this point, you know? And it's not like you did anything wrong, you know? And I feel like some people could say right here as a coach, me and my ADHD, my fucking, the voices in my head, they're like, oh my God, what if these students, and it's just a worry for me. It's not a fucking schizo shit. It's just a worry. It's like, what if my students misunderstand this part of the rotation so much that they blame others by saying, oh, you ran a layer just because it ran open for them. It's like, no, actually, I'm trying to counteract this preemptively right now by creating this video and saying that sometimes it'll go over. And in that case, you need this. Okay? You need this. Now, if your third man is late in the rotation, it helps to see a nameplate. Okay? So when you're here and you're looking and they have possession, you're looking to receive this. End of story. That's how it is. It doesn't matter. It's never going to change. Now, it helps to see a nameplate because you can see it in your frame. You have a little bit of a field of view. And then if he comes out of your field of view, you know, like so let's say it's behind this where the nameplate crosses and then no longer you can see him, but over on this side of my hand, right? Because I have my webcam over here. Okay. So I have my field of view that's like, you know, facing towards the field like this. As soon as they see him cross over this, I know that, okay, now he's in the position that he should have enough boost as well. That if this goes over me, I'm going to go. But if you see him late and he doesn't cross that threshold, right, then at that point I know, okay, he's here. He's probably not going to go for this. I'm coming next, okay? So it really helps your teams to note that. And honestly, it's kind of a feel thing. It takes a lot of practice, guys. I've been doing this for, at least I played competitively from, I would say, 2016 2016 to 2021, 2022. Yeah, I played competitively from 2016 to 2022. I played since August of 2015 when the game was first launched. Okay, and it takes a lot of practice. It took me a while. It took a really good set of teams, and a couple of them for me to understand, one realization here, the next realization here, the next realization here. It was never oh, I get it, and all the information downloaded, and I understood it all. It was a series of, oh, this makes sense. Oh, this makes sense. And now it kept going and going and going until eventually I now had so much experience in the knowledge base that I just compiled all that together to now bring this forward to you. That's where we're at. So no matter what, this guy needs to be here to look to receive. If it goes behind him, however, okay, and you are watching in your frame, right, because you have a big field of view, when you're pointed like this and you got ball cam on, you can see up to here. As soon as you see this, and he's out of your frame a little bit, right? It would probably be realistically like right there, right? As soon as you see him out of the frame with ball cam on, yeah, so it'll be centered. So it'll be something like this. Yeah, you guys can get it. It's like a 45-degree cone up ahead. It's a 45-degree cone. As soon as you see him cross that vision, okay, he's good, right? If he's late and you see him land, and even though if it could go over you, it's going to be awkward, got to go for it anyway. But even then, if you're playing at a really high level where everything is tested, it can also get there's another level of awkwardness to it when you're coming out of a transition to offense and you're low boost, right? And so let's say you only had 12. I greeted a pad. Now I'm here. And then first man landed a big clear. Now second man take possession. Now he's right here. Now, what do I do next? Something like this. This is a very real scenario. What happens now? Well, you're going to just force, right? If he's high on the wall, dive early. I know that seems weird. You got one, and you're going to have two guys back, technically. You just need two defenders to beat one attacker. You guys have heard me say that before. This is a very real scenario. I want you to go for it early. I'll force the release.
Good job, son.
Thank you.
See, this is what you should have been doing. You see how I'm supporting you here?
Yeah.
If he tries to pass it, just go for it and cover the shot, too. If he tries to pass it, you're good. Okay. So that's what we're looking at. Okay, so I don't want you to mistakenly think that teammates are running the layer if in the off chance that they need to go for it, right? It does happen to go over them, and then their third man goes and takes it. That's natural. Okay, what we're avoiding, though, and what I'm trying to teach you guys is you don't just run willy-nilly when you need to receive this. Because it's like leaving the net open. You left your half. This guy's covering technically this back half, but he's covering midfield. That's what we're doing. So we're segmenting the workload, and I don't want you doing that. That's it. End of the video. Much love. I hope maybe that clarifies something.